Welcome back. Today, we are going beyond one of the most talked about hottest upcoming stars of the game of basketball, Bronny James. He really is LeBron James's son, and the poor chap has faced more pressure than most players his age can probably imagine. Every moment of his journey has been ripped apart by critics or fans, and now here he is making it to the G League because of his own efforts. Bronny has put in a lot of time and effort to prove he belongs in this league, not through his name, but through his game. Today, we get to find out how he is finding his footing, impacting on defense, developing his offense, and dealing with pressure that comes with strong lights. Let's get into it. Having Bronny James on the professional basketball roster isn't strange at all. Once he picked up a basketball, he has lived under the scrutiny of everyone. However, he did not lose hope as he keeps encouraging himself to stay strong despite all the public eye on him. Now that he is playing in the G League, he takes advantage of this opportunity to show he is much more than a mere name. He's out there to prove that he is a legit player who can win basketball games. In the 9 matches he has played, Bronny has shown sparks. Definitely the big thing is his ability to adjust to the speed of the pace of the profession. It's tough. G League balls are usually just like a trash can case full of animals hungry for the dream NBA, so every possession matters. That's really what Bronny has embraced, and actually smart plays on the court, showing high IQ basketball such that has been one of his strongest traits. He's truly showing that he knows how to play the game right, whether it's by moving without the ball, finding open teammates, or even positioning himself correctly while playing defense. Of course, it has not been all smooth sailing through. But then, like every young player, he has had his bad days or times when he's found it difficult to get the best out of himself. What really sets him apart from the rest is the fact that he is willing to learn and adapt. As J.J. Redick said, he is incredibly coachable. He'll take everything from coaches very seriously and then will apply it like that. That is a critical reason in his development and also one of the reasons believe in him by coaches and teammates. Although Bronny's minutes seem not to have been constant through the season, lately he has continued to step up his game. He has looked more confident and aggressive in the last 2 games while also showing improvement on defense. One can tell that he is winning the trust of his coaches, and that's a big stride for a young player. The G League is very much an optimal environment for Bronny now. It's freeing him from the possibility of having to deal with trying to live up to expectations anyone else might have of him in the NBA. This is probably just the right mix for what he needs to really work on areas of weakness, fine-tune his strengths, and gain some quality experience against good competition. And by the way, he's only 20 years old. Bronny has plenty of time to develop, and if he continues on this path, the sky's the limit. One of the most exciting parts of Bronny's game is the prospect of his defense. In worlds like today's NBA, the most critical skill that any player can have is probably versatility in defense, and Bronny already shows that he can be elite in this department. Defense mostly comes unnoticed, especially in highlight-oriented culture, but it is something coaches and scouts are measuring on the table with Bronny. His foundation for defense is clear. He is quick on his feet and very laterally mobile with a very high motor. These are essential traits for perimeter defense. Most impressive is his game-reading ability. Bronny sees plays before they happen, and that allows him to interfere in passing lanes, contest shots, and even create turnovers. His instincts are quite sophisticated for his age and afford him competitive advantage against older, more experienced players. Another aspect in Bronny's defense is his readiness for facing difficult assignments. He's not damaged by unmindfulness to guard the entire main opposing player through all the restrictions. He welcomes such invocations, wherein aside from itself lays a rare mentality for one so young, which speaks volumes about his competitive nature. Recently, J.J. Redick focused on the fact that Bronny's dedication to defense makes a huge impact on him ever taking on a very good role in the NBA. Coaches adore the players that create an impact but do so without having to associate with the ball, and that is what Bronny manifests to prove himself capable. It is not impulse and intelligence, but rather physicals that consider Bronny dominant. At a height of 6 feet 3 inches, he has fair dimensions for guards, which also makes up his level of athletics in terms of mainstream speed through which one is able to bounce off dribble quickly after getting defeated. To this also lies his vertical to add strength to contesting shots and grabbing rebounds in traffic. That amalgamation makes him a very adaptive and versatile defender capable of defending the different positions. His ability providing him an edge in a switching-heavy defense scheme nowadays. He has definitely not reached his best yet. He sometimes is guilty of ball watching, resulting in lapse in coverage. He needs to get stronger to withstand more of the physical stuff, especially when it's bigger-bodied post players. Typical growth areas for young players, so certainly Bronny will work hard to overcome them. And that is why people get so excited about his future. He just has to continue developing on that front. If he gets better defensively, he'll probably have a chance to be a difference maker on that end of the floor. Defense doesn't always get on the highlight reel. It wins games, and Bronny understands that. Bronny James continues to progress on the defensive end, but has been more focused on his offensive game. He is no longer a primary scoring option for the team, but there have been flashes of offensive promise that scouts have faith in will be tapped with time and effort. Bronny's most fascinating offensive trait is his ability to play in the rhythm and flow of the game. He is not one of those players who force bad shots or will try to do too much, which is impressive for a young player. He is more patient in searching for the best scoring opportunities while also making smart reads. More or less, the IQ in basketball applies to both his offense as it does defense, and there is no question that he knows how to contribute without the ball in his hands, alongside great shooting. Another watchable aspect about him is shooting. Though not an elite shooter just yet, his technique is good, knocking down the occasional open three. To make it at the next level, he will have to become more consistent and convert a league average percentage or two over the arc. Good news? Bronny has been all over the gym working on refining his shot and preparing himself with long-range confidence. Finishing is another of these areas in which he must improve. Offensively, he is athletic. However, he still has to learn better techniques for finishing. He has scrambles of creativity when coming to the basket, using his body to shield defenders and finding odd angles to score. However, he has also at times allowed more significant, stronger opponents to disrupt his rhythm because most of the time they can cause him to fall rather than finish. Adding weight and continuing to improve his touch around the basket will be significant for his development. The area where Bronny quietly excels is playmaking. Although he may not be your stereotypical point guard, he possesses vision and unselfishness that enables him to make play for others. From throwing a clean pass in transition to piercing the needle on the half court, Bronny's ability to set up plays adds to his offensive arsenal. Such types of players are often valued. They can create for others, and that is what Bronny projects himself over time with those tools. Perhaps the biggest takeaway from Bronny's skill offensively is this. He has learned to play to his strengths while improving on his weaknesses. He isn't trying to do too much or live up to unrealistic expectations. Rather, he keeps working at improvement here as slowly as coaches want young people to improve. One of the issues that exist between Bronny James and other young boys is spotlight. The cameras would follow him everywhere once he put his foot on the basketball court. His every move is under scrutiny. He is made to feel every mistake. In spite of all this, Bronny has held his head high and pressed on as he gets better. Among the many reasons for Bronny's composed nature is upbringing. As a child, born from LeBron James, he grew around greatness. He has seen all that it takes to stand out in the limelight and has adopted all his father's attention to detail and good work ethic inculcated in him. Such a degree of composure is a mark of maturity in Bronny, who has had pressure to perform at an almost impossible elite level. J.J. Redick recently discussed Bronny and his reluctance to fail, which is understandable given the constant scrutiny surrounding him. But failure is an essential part of growth. Redick made an important point about Bronny's game being taken to another level once he accepts mistakes. Bronny is attempting to turn such a mindset around. And indeed, it is clear that he has begun to play with a certain liberation and confidence. Another condition that helps him thrive under pressure is that he has a good support system. The father, LeBron himself, gives him access to advice and guidance few players could match. But there is more than that, as Bronny has a host of coaches and mentors who believe in him and are on the right path to helping him achieve that success. That will help keep him grounded and motivated toward his long-term goals. Bronny is also demonstrating that he has mental toughness when it comes to criticism from outside sources. There are as many skeptics as there are believers who say that he's only getting chances because of his name. Instead of being affected by something else, Bronny uses it to motivate him. He wants to show the world that he belongs at this level and that doubters are wrong in judging him. For some players, pressure busts. But for Bronny, immersion creates a force that can act as a stimulus for development. With continued improvement and the solidification of skills, there'll be no doubt he will have ways of using the glaring spotlights to his advantage. The rising basketball star Bronny James has taken the first initial steps toward resolving issues. From defense potential to offense improvement and pressure handling, all of the bases for success are covered. The G League is the ideal proving ground for fine-tuning his skills, and he's taking maximum advantage of every opportunity. It's easily forgotten just how young Bronny is and how that affects his time in development. At 20 years, he's already proving it's all about work ethic, mindset, and talent enough to change things. Not an easy road for sure, but one thing we've learned from Bronny is he isn't one to run away from the fight.